not joking. All my guys, them know me.
Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Melissa, and if you're new, please sit down, relax, grab your popcorn, because today we are going to dive into a very important and lesson-filled content. So it's very important that you grab a drink, grab your popcorn, okay? Also, please like this video, subscribe to my channel, click the notification bell so that whenever I post, you'll be the first to find out. So today's story is a life lesson story. It's a story that you just have to learn something from. It is a story that embodies the slogan, someone is always watching. Even if you're alone, just have it at the back of your mind that someone is watching. It could be a human being or even a CCTV camera, but just know that you are being watched. So you have to be very careful in everything that you do. You have to be very honest in all of your dealings. We as Nigerians, we are labeled enough. We are stereotyped, yes, but it is left for us to prove people wrong. Now, today's story is a sad story of how Sophie Adebayo, age 38, got into trouble, and hopefully she'll be able to get herself out of this hot mess. Sophie Adebayo has been working for the NHS for the past 15 years. She graduated from University of East London and obtained a master's degree in nursing. She is currently employed by Oxley's NHS Foundation Trust, and because of her dedication to her duty as a psychiatric nurse and her hard work, she was recently promoted to a post of a clinical lead. That is something that you must earn. In order for you to be promoted to a clinical lead, you must have been very outstanding. Now, little wonder how she got herself into this mess. Being an outstanding nurse that has just been promoted to a clinical lead, someone that has been practicing for the past 15 years with the NHS. That means she has probably lived in the UK for a very long time, and at the same time she's a mother, not just a mother but a single mom of a 14-year-old, and she lives in Greenwich, London with her son. Now, what kind of trouble is she in? Now, there is something called the emergency health badge. This is a badge that enables health professionals to park free of charge in a certain area. So usually she visits homes as a community psychiatry nurse. She visits her patients and she's able to park in these areas free of charge. I don't know what came over her. She decided to be fraudulent. She photocopied an emergency health badge to say that it was a pre-planned crime. She photocopied it and then displayed the photocopied badge just on her dashboard and parked where she's not supposed to park. Now, the reason behind this is to avoid any parking fee. Now, unfortunately for her, she was caught. Now, from what I gathered, she has done this in the past. She got away with it, but this time around, like I always say, every day for the thief, but one day for the owner. Unfortunately, this was not a day, and it was not business as usual. She photocopied her emergency health badge and placed the photocopied material on her dashboard. Now, when one of the parking officers was roaming about, checking to ensure that people actually paid and all that, he came across this particular badge. The first thing that he noticed was the color. The color was so different from the typical emergency health badge that he knows about, and then he checked very closely, and so many other things were not just adding up, and that was how Sophie Adebayo got herself into this mess. Clearly, the first way to find this person is through a car number. So he did his job, and Sophie was prosecuted. Now, a tearful Adebayo pleaded guilty to 2 counts of fraud by false presentation, namely that on March 31st and May 31st last year in Devonshire Drive, Greenwich, she dishonestly displayed a copy of the badge in a restricted parking bay. She also pleaded guilty to possessing an article for use in fraud, namely the photocopied badge, between March 31st and May 31st last year, and making an article for use in fraud on March 31st. Adebayo was fined £507 with 1,200 costs and must pay a £200 victim surcharge. Magistrate Michael Foley told her, "What you have done is wrong. You have paid the fines for parking, but that is no excuse for what you have done. We have discussed the prospect of custody and what that will mean to you, but we have taken into account your remorsefulness and defense. When you are entitled to something, you are entitled to it, but when you are not, you are not. Now, she was not taken into custody because she pleaded guilty and she was remorseful, she was defenseless. She said, yes, indeed, I committed this crime and I am sorry. Mind you, at first she denied. She said she was at work, because if you're at work, you're actually allowed to park in some particular areas for free as long as you have the emergency health badge. She stated that she was at work. That was her first defense, but apparently she was caught because there was no way she was working on that particular day. I mean, like I always say, somebody is always watching. There are records everywhere. This is just not anyhow country where you can do some certain things and get away with it. This is the UK. Your records are everywhere. So that is something you need to always have at the back of your mind. So they found out that indeed she was not working on that particular day. As a matter of fact, it is impossible for her to be working on that particular day. And then she resorted to pleading guilty and being defenseless and being very remorseful, and that was why she was given discharge. Now, give or take, discharge should be like a total of £2,000, and this is something that ideally shouldn't have cost more than £15. I don't live in London, but I know whenever we visit London, we always just leave our car in the hotel, especially if we are going to Greenwich area, which happens to be like central London. We just avoid driving. But apparently she has lived in Greenwich for a very long time, so she should know better. Now, I don't know if she was probably in a haste, because this is something that she has done previously. Unfortunately, she was caught this time around, or it was a pre-planned fraudulent act. I can't say for her, but the most important thing is that she was very remorseful in court. She pleaded guilty and they decided to be lenient with her a bit by fining her a total of about £2,000. The magistrate also stated that she is going to be reported to the NMC. I know for sure that Nursing Council do not take dishonesty lightly, so I do not know what they're probably gonna do to her. Knowing that she has kept a clean record, hopefully they're able to like be lenient with her and not strike her off the register, as it's not really like a very serious crime, like something like abuse or a safeguarding concern. Knowing that it's to do with integrity and dishonesty, I just hope that they probably just book her in for some training, let her work under strict supervision, be able to monitor her, let her do some personal reflection or even work reflection. I hope they will be able to put something like that in place for her and not just strike her off, hopefully. Let's take account of some of the things that are detailed here. She works extremely hard and is not a person who makes criminal decisions and lives a law-abiding life and pays her rent on a limited income, added Miss Hamad. Miss Hamad happens to be a lawyer. She gives back to the Royal Borough of Greenwich, working as a mental health nurse, and the 2 times she used the badge was to attend to her client. The financial loss would have been the payment of parking. She received parking tickets and paid them. She believes she would receive a warning, but that did not happen, and she finds herself here in court today. Before leaving, Mr. Foley told Adebayo, let this be a big wake-up call for you. You do things for the community, but this was very foolish, and we do not want to see you in court again. So you can tell, like, it was a very foolish act. I mean, you can go to court for so many reasons, but I mean, something like this is very avoidable, and that is why I always say, please have it at the back of your mind that somebody is always watching. Let's be honest in everything that we do. Few days ago, I came out here to talk about how someone sold the wrong thing to me, and she was insulting and just throwing words, exchanging words. Meanwhile, she could have just said sorry. Wisdom is profitable to direct. So I think in everything we do, we should just apply wisdom. Trust me, this is just one out of many. There are so many people that evade these things. There are so many people, they come here illegally or they've overstayed. They can't work in a professional setting, take up professional jobs. Now they do some kind of menial jobs where they pay them half. Like for instance, minimum wage is about £10 something. These people, they get £5 something and they get their money cash. So things like so many illicit activities are really going on. Some persons, their international driver's license have expired, they are still driving. They are still on the road as we speak. There are some persons that instead of paying a professional instructor to teach them how to drive, they will rather meet with their colleague or their friend who has not even driven in the UK for up to 3 years to teach them how to drive. Somebody reached out to me and asked that if it's possible for me to drive her to where she would write her exam. And I'm like, hey, hello auntie, my license is not even up to a year. Within few months I have gotten 2 tickets, one for overspeeding and second for driving past a bus lane, which it was even a mistake. I didn't even know there was a bus lane there. So things like this. See me, I'm trying to keep a very clean record, clean image. Please auntie, I'm sorry. Ask somebody else. I cannot do this thing. I had to tell her. You know, there are so many things that we do. We think somebody is not watching, especially driving when you do not have a license. Oh my goodness. Some people, they've not passed, they've just written their theory test. Some people have not written their theory test, or they've not passed, they've not done anything, no attempt, and they've stayed here for more than 1 year, but they're still driving with their international driver's license. You can be caught, you can be fined, you can even be taken to court. What if, I'm like, just what if you're being very careful on the road and somehow a reckless driver just comes and hits you, and in the process somebody lands in the hospital seriously ill, or you just mistakenly hit somebody? You know, definitely ambulance is gonna come and police will definitely be there, and they check and they realize that you do not even have a valid driver's license. Like, what kind of risks do we take? I don't understand it. I just do not understand. I know how much I wanted to drive terribly. I wanted to do school run. I was suffering. We had cars, 2 cars in front of my house. My husband would drive one to work and the car would be in front, and I will walk to go and pick Kachi from school and walk back. Like, I was just trekking using bus. My area, like where I live, my estate is not very good with bus system. You literally like walk for like 10 or 8 minutes before you can find a bus stand. So it was so stressful, but I was doing it because, I mean, taxi money, you know, it was so expensive. I could not imagine myself using £20 almost every day for taxi for school run. I'm like, I go walk out. So I walk to pick Kachi, walk back with Kachi, which Kachi even enjoyed so much, but it was very stressful. And my area is so hilly, like you will climb hill. Like, that was what motivated me to pass. I'm like, you see, this is my driving test. I must pass it. This thing must end. I am tired. So where am I driving at? Guys, please, let's be very, very, very careful. Let's avoid all these things. Personally, I think they are not really worth it. Now look at this lady now. The process of avoiding paying a parking fee of, let me just give or take £15, which I know it will not be up to that, but let's just say maximum of £15. You end up paying over £2,000. Now your record is there. You now have to be very careful, because if you're caught again, you'll be in big trouble, and now you'll be reported to NMC. No, now it's not worth it because of how much. It's a stupid crime. It's not worth it. So guys, let's be very, very careful. Let me know, of course, your input in the comment section. Thank you for watching this video, and I will see you all again. Bye guys.